What a way to start. In their hearts, true competitors love nothing more than to do battle on the world's biggest stage. And in the pantheon of marble racing, there's nothing bigger than this. Hello, everybody. I'm Greg Woods, and I'm thrilled to welcome you to the first ever installment of Marbula 1 here at the Savage Speedway. As we saw in qualifying, this track has not been kind to the Savage Speeders. Our grid lined up and ready to go. It's the O'Rangers at the start, lights are on, and we're rolling around the turn. The O'Rangers lead coming off the grid. They nearly all at the front, opt to the outside. 10 laps in this race, and the O'Rangers got a bad jump off the ramp. They fall back to third place. Galactic and the Hazers are up in front. Snowballs in fourth, hounding the top three. Outside of Galactic, way up front as we enter the front stretch for the first time. Looks like we do have a couple that come through the pit lane. No real penalty for doing that, but the field locked as they come up the conveyor belt for the first time. Galactic out in front, team right there. Red Eye and Cerulean are very close. Bolt went backwards, and Alpine moves up into sixth. Alpine gets by into fifth. This battle for second place, very close now. That was a good move. I believe that was Cerulean fending off a challenge from Alpine, and took a different line to make it stick here. It is fighting for second place, has it in front of Clutter and Cerulean Dash, now trying to chase down Origin. Positions changing all the time as they go through the slalom. Clutter comes out in front ahead of Dash and Origin still, but this is all over the place right now. I think people are still reeling from that track invasion, trying to figure out how to manage the energy that goes into the normal start of a Grand Prix. Clutter with a good exit off of the belt here. And a nice challenge coming from Dash, who is attempting to close well. Prim exits cleanly. Smoggy, second place over Speedy. Then Wispy. And Shock briefly up there into fourth place. Smoggy into fourth. Now back behind Wispy. Speedy is tracking down Prim through the second sector into the third. And now, they nearly all jump into the pit lane. Prim stays out. The gap? Just a little over half a second over Wispy and Snowy. Smoggy. Mallard tries to snake his way through, and now we've got a big bunch up into third place. Primary trying to hold back the floodgates from Hazy and Starry. Going right over that second split there. Clutter doesn't seem to have lost any speed. In fact, the gap seems to be growing a little bit. Mallard trying to track him down, trying to get into the draft. He opts for the inside, does Clutter, and up the conveyor belt they come. This time he'll opt for more the racing line, it appears. Free again, and we'll be back underway, and I think that's going to happen. Let's see if anybody makes contact. We're back to green. All right. So we'll have to take a look. It was a local yellow, so passing was allowed in some places. But Waspy is now one lap behind. Billy up in front, able to control the pace really well here, and he made some great moves through sector number one to blow out that lead. Rezi now into second place. Smoggy as rapidly in Bolt, fighting between the two of them. Look at this gaggle of marbles as they come down the pit straight. Smoggy kind of creating a train behind. He's getting a little bit out of sorts there. Rezi and Rapidly locked together as they come into the conveyor belt to start lap number 6. And the top 11 marble. Out they come. Milky Madness, trouble getting off the belt, and they fend off a challenge quickly. Just like that, they're back up in front with a little bit of a gap, but it almost came completely undone for them there. That light blue marble there. Derry Dash fighting with them. Grays of Glory make a lunge, and they're into third.
Venturi in front, Tachita second. Nissan third, but Tachita make their move to the front now. DS Tachita out in first place. Nissan are into second position, and they might even be into the lead. No, not quite. Tachita in the clear marble out in front. Nissan in the red and black marble right behind. 4.5 minutes plus
third. That's where several passes have been made, and I would say this lead has come down. It's half a second between our top two. Off they come, and it's a length apart between them. How does Bolt respond through the banking? Holding decently well. Ooh, a shoulder there stops Yellow Eye completely. And that allows Bolt to get going. That is perfectly legal. They came together there, and I have to think that shook Yellow Eye. Lime gets by and now have a chance to track down Bolt. Yellow Eye put it back together. We're past the halfway point in this race, but it means there's still quite a few laps to go. Mallard has recovered nicely up to 5th. Then it's Starry. Perhaps wasting all that energy and focus at the beginning and is perhaps losing nerve slightly. In the final few laps of this Grand Prix, Pinky Panther is starting to put together what look to be some good sectors, but catches that wall and immediately comes to a stop. I was going to say, that may lead to a battle with Origin, who once again goes over the top of the divider through the far hairpin. Out of the boost, and around that banking come the leaders. Starry, nearly 3 seconds in front. Pinky Panther, a good gap back behind Origin. Billy has some trouble on the belt. Something must have happened because Billy lost about 4 spots, 3 or final turn, but can't get it done. 700ths back, though. That's easily within striking distance. Volt, Red-Eye, Pulsar, Wispy. Red-Eye having a little bit of trouble with Pulsar behind. They both go to the inside on the speed boost and then switches midway through this Pulsar. In the meantime, Red-Eye carries that speed into the lead and then loses it with an over-under move that was a masterclass by Bolt. 2/10. Honey, Pulsar, and Wispy, and Red-Eye gets the jump off the belt. The Crazy Cat's Eyes lead the overall stand. They're going to be neck and neck as they come up the conveyor belt. Minty Maniacs holding in third, Bumblebee's up into fifth behind the Crazy Cat's Eyes, and Mellow Yellow gets the better launch, coming over the start-finish line. Down that ramp with the shark fin, that can really knock you one way or another and put you completely out of position down that backstretch. You've got to be careful with how you handle it. Mellow Yellow coming across the line here, 1.78. That's as big a lead as we've seen for quite some time. The Hornets in 6th, Thunderbolts back there in 7th, Oceanics 15th throughout. Great move there. Azure getting to the inside of Origin through that far hairpin. There's Speedy, decides to go to the outside of that split. As we look back and see the gaps to the rest of the field covered very nicely up into second place. Tumult, who still holds fast his lap, could use a couple more to try to cut into that lead, which sits at 0.8 of a second over Waspy. I think Speedy could see Waspy coming off the belt to be safe. Swinging around that lead marble. Nice and shiny is that lead marble. Has a big gap to Red-Eye in second place. Iceberg, Kiwi is also up there. There you see Bumble and Razzie coming together. Through the B dance, contact once more. That blue and yellow marble. Kiwi trying to hold off the captain of the Bumblebees. The lead has really come down right now. Red-Eye shadowing and drafting coming through over the start-finish line. They're probably only going to be one step apart as they come up the conveyor belt. Yes, down by 1/10. We know Ruzzy is quick. And Cerulean is quicker still. 26.03, shaved 1/10 of a second off the fastest lap. Great move there in the first sector by Clementon to get second place. Caught everybody napping. Clementon clearly napping out of that turn has allowed Ruzzy to close right in. A bump off of the curbs didn't seem to slow Clementon down at all. Wispy up into third, will keep that spot rather. Where's Billy? Off into the distance, not even in the camera screen. Look at this. Specs has now gotten back up into second place. Tumult in third. The three are very close together. Then a bit of a gap back to Glimmer, who is fighting with Python. Out of the belt they come. Python loses a couple of positions. Diamond, meanwhile, dancing off into the distance. Riding that attenuator is Specs. Not necessarily the fastest way to go about this. A very short race. We're already on lap 4. This begins the final lap. Closer as they come across the belt. 2/10, and this is the final lap. Speedy versus Royal. Will Misty have anything to say about it? They're opting for different lines, and now they go defensive through the S's. Speedy over Royal. Very slow and deliberate here. Both of these marbles know that there are passing opportunities coming up. Royal to the outside, back to the inside. Has the lead through the hairpin and may have timed it perfectly. Royal is going to make it 2 straight in Marbula 1. Speedy comes second, Misty third, Firo in fourth, and a roar for Pinky Panther, who notches that team's best Marbula 1 finish, one better than the previous, in 5th. This was a fast race, an evolving track that saw marbles learning it as they went. The Cobalts, thrilled with the performance they have seen, from Royal. Royal goes from 8th to 1st. Vero also up 5 spots. Look at the 7 from Arup and Fenrir. On the flip side to that, Quasar and Mimo dropped quite a bit, not what they wanted. As the teams make their way to the podium, underneath the beautiful flowering trees here at Sakura Garden. This has been a nice welcome, gotta say. Royal, that is the 3rd win for the Regal Marine. Now goes above 100 points for their career. Up at the top of the standings, 5 clear of Speedy, but of course this is an odd-numbered race, which means that not all of the marbles have run the same number at this point. So we'll have to see, as it continues to march through the season, where things shake out. Will we see some of the traditional marbles, the traditional frontrunners, make their way? How about the teams? Well, the Savage Speeders are up there. The Cobalts are getting used to being up there now. 2 wins in 3 races is one heck of a start to the season. The Hazers up there, as we've seen in the past. Team Plasma. The Pinkies move up to 5th, jump 3 spots at their home Grand Prix. And the fans, yes, it may not have been a win, it may not have been able to hold 2nd place, but they are thrilled with what their marble did, and rightfully so. Let's get that host curse broken next time. We hope you'll join us. Stay tuned, everybody.